But now let's go look at Malachi 4 through 6. Let's look at what it says. Now, how many of you, first, before I go there, in verses 1 through 3, how many of you know it's talking about the last days? Okay, so what's the follow-up? Verse 4 through 6, in these last days, what are we to do? It says, remember the law of Moses. Remember the Torah of Moses, my servant, which I commanded him in Horeb, or Mount Sinai, for all of Israel, with the statutes and the judgments. So here in verse 17, it talks about us being God's sons, his servants. Now it refers to Moses as his servant, and how we're to, what's happening in these last days. If you remember Acts 3, 16 through 19, Jesus is being held in heaven until the restoration of all things. Well, one of the things that's being restored back to the body of Messiah is the Torah. Now, the whole church is never going to do this, but God never looks for the whole. He looks for a remnant. And I believe you guys are living in the days when the remnant that understands this verse, we begin to remember the laws, the statutes, and the judgments. He says, then what's going to happen? He says, I'm going to send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day. This is why every Passover, there is a cup for Elijah set, because they believe, and I believe that they believe correctly, some year on Passover, Elijah's going to show up. And look what he's supposed to do before the great and dreadful day of the Lord. He's to turn the heart of the fathers back to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. And I think that's not the hearts of the children to the early church fathers. It's the hearts of the children back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Those are the fathers. So God is going to be turning the hearts of the fathers to the children back to the fathers. And we're going to get a better understanding of what God was trying to communicate.